IGN has a review of Remnant 2 up. Here we go.
When you look back at the history of new games and their sequels, oftentimes it's not until the second attempt at a bold new idea that things really hit their stride.
Hold on, Travis. What do you mean? Okay, I see where you're getting at. But the first game was a remarkable game. I hope you say something or elaborate more to come back from this. I don't know. That's a weird comment to make at the start of a review for a game. Maybe he didn't like the first one.
I've been waiting.
Following in the footsteps of breakthrough sequels like Borderlands 2 and Assassin's Creed 2 before it, Remnant 2 iterates on the original to phenomenal effect. Combat is even smoother and more satisfying. Loot and build crafting have been greatly improved to allow for countless possibilities and reasons to grind.
As
Boss
expected,
fights
yeah.
have been completely overhauled to ditch spongy bosses aided by endless waves of minions.
That's another complaint I see people making about the ads. Okay, it is a valid complaint. But, I mean, I've played through the first one several times. I responded to somebody on Twitter the other day, and they were like, oh, all the bosses have ads. But that's not true, is it? Because there's some bosses, probably, I think they tried to correct this mistake in the expansion, in the Subject 2923 expansion, because there's quite a bit of bosses in there that don't have ads, but some, I mean, I didn't mind, because there's a lot of games like that, but it's like, it's a weird complaint to me. Why are you complaining? I don't know. I guess, whatever.
And each of the realms feel diverse and brimming with things to do and secrets to uncover.
Oh shit.
But procedurally
Invisible
generated,
walls.
impressively replayable levels remain its killer feature.
Oh, yeah.
And
Oh,
here,
yeah.
they've been improved in so many ways, it's alarmingly easy to lose half a day by jumping back into the same area just to see other possibilities.
That's the biggest strength of the first one, is that you can replay and you can get a different weapon from a boss, or you might not even see that boss at all. It might be a different boss. Like the first biome has two different main bosses at the end. I think not just the first, but I think even in the second and third, all of them have an alternate boss that you can kill at the end of the zone. I think that's its biggest strength. And there's also different side dungeons that you come across. You can get different weapons. And I think a lot of people missed out on this feature. Because most of because you're programmed to think, oh, I beat the game, I'm done. No, you're not done, because there's traits you can unlock, there's secrets to discover, and this game, I already see it, is going to expound upon that.
We don't have to wait for a third one. When it comes to games like this, the second time's the charm.
Travis, you are pissing me the fuck off, Travis. What do you mean the second time? The first one is good. Like, you making that remark is saying a whole lot. You are saying that the first one was bad. This is the second time you made a remark like this. And by saying this and also mentioning Borderlands 2, you're also saying that Borderlands 1 was trash. Am I mistaken? Second time, you say second time's the charm? That means the first one was ass, in your opinion. And it was not. It definitely was not. A game doesn't have to be, what the fuck, AAA, all this, quality. Well, I can't even say AAA quality anymore, because that's a thing of the past. AAA quality is a myth. But a game doesn't have to have $1 billion spent on it, and have this feel about it in order to be successful, or to be of the quality that you're presumably expecting from the first one. It can be low budget and still be great. I don't know. I don't know what to say about that. That's kind of crazy that he would say something like that. Second time's the charm? Huh?
Back in 2019, a lot of us, myself included, lovingly referred to the original Remnant from the Ashes
Oh, here we go. He about to say some dumb shit again. He about to say some dumb shit. I know it.
as Dark Souls with guns, and the sequel seems to nod in violent agreement with that characterization. You and up to 2 allies will navigate gloriously hazardous areas packed with devilish enemies who make short work of anyone without the skill or patience to overcome its intentionally challenging levels. Just like its predecessor, the surreal story has you playing as a nameless survivor in a post-apocalyptic Earth where a race of evil trees called the Root are attempting to take over the multiverse. Super weird, right? Yeah, well, the main story's not really a highlight, but that setup is used to justify you teleporting to different realities to do really awesome
why are you showing spoilers?
And save the day.
Jesus Christ.
Somebody take me!
Why are you showing the... No, you know what? I'm skipping this. I'm skipping that. Like, why would you put that in the review? I don't want to see that shit. I don't want to see anything about the story. You can show me monster. I don't want to see the story. I don't want to see boss fights. Just talk about the game, review the game. I don't want to see that.
No matter which stretch of the adventure you're working your way through, though, every second of gunplay is a totally challenging blast. Every new area is a dramatic dance of shooting, dodging, making clever use of abilities, and doing your best to not get surrounded by whatever relentless enemy is trying their best to maim and dismember you. What starts as a relatively simple toolbox spirals into a treasure trove of weapons, armor, highly customizable character classes, and mods.
I wonder if the game will do anything special based on your save game from the first one. Or your characters from the first one. I doubt it.
That hasn't come close to feeling stale after my first few dozen hours. A major part of what makes combat continuously feel so fresh is that you keep hopping between.
First few dozen hours. I was watching Legacy Gaming talking about this, and they said between the 3 of them, they have 150 hours, and that was like 4 days ago. But the 3 people on that team, they have 150 hours. So when he says a few dozen hours, does he mean 24 hours? Does that mean he hasn't beat the game? Does he mean 36 hours? Because if you only if you only played for 36 hours, you've probably only beaten the game 1 time, which also means that you haven't gone through a second playthrough. As you just mentioned, there's things to do in a second playthrough. I don't think you can properly or genuinely review this game unless you've actually attempted to go through a second run to see some of the different things that have happened, or even a different character, something like that. Replaying this game is one of the biggest draws of playing this game. 1 playthrough, I don't think, is enough to review the game. Because it's a massive feature of the game, the replayability.
Between different worlds in the multiverse, each with their own distinct feel.
Why does he keep saying multiverse? Why does he keep saying multiverse? There are no separate timelines in here. I don't think so. There were no separate timelines in the first game. So why does he keep saying multiverse? Is that a spoiler? Is something going to happen in the story where we're time traveling? Or traveling to other universes?
One of them, Naru,
am I misunderstanding the term multiverse?
With violent robots, electronic gizmos, and laser guns.
Yo, that armor looked tight.
While Lassam is a fantasy realm with Cockney elves who wear bowler hats and try to cut your throat in between what I can only assume are their busy chimney-sweeping schedules.
You'll die for that!
The worlds are so starkly distinct that sometimes it's quite jarring in a good way. I mean, if you didn't know any better, would you even think that these were the same?
Hold up. See this right here? That's the void armor from the first game. That's making a comeback. Nice, nice. I think there's the cultist armor. This might be the elder armor. Over here, this looks like some kind of geisha themed armor, and this definitely is from Nerud. I'll be wearing that, promise you.
Game. Each world also includes, as you'd expect, a bunch of boss battles. And this is one of those areas where you can tell that the developers listen to the community feedback about the first Remnant's boss fights lacking any real personality.
Okay, buddy. Okay, buddy. It's obvious you had a bunch of criticism about the first one. This is the third time. First time, I was like, okay, maybe he didn't like the first game. Second time, maybe he didn't. But this is the third time you're mentioning some kind of criticism about the first game. Obviously, you did not like the first game.
I'm extremely happy to report that Remnant 2 has not only corrected this weakness, but now counts its boss fights as one of its main strengths. While there are certainly some uninspired fights, like a random lady who throws Molotov cocktails at you, and a blob monster who's just a beefier version of an existing enemy you see a lot already, the vast majority are not only delightfully difficult tests of your skill and your character's build, but also have plenty of interesting mechanics. There's one fight where looking at a boss for a few seconds makes your character go mad and die, and another where a ghost traps you in a haunted house and pops out of the walls to scratch your face off.
There was that one dungeon, side dungeon in Yesha, I think they only added it in an expansion, where there's you're in like a crypt and there's a bunch of coffins, or it's like a mausoleum, and I didn't know this. I was struggling with this level, and if you looked at the holes in the dungeon, mobs would spawn out of those holes. But apparently, I found out on Reddit that if you just look down at the floor, nothing spawns, and it's incredibly easy. But if you're looking up as you're normally walking, a bunch of mobs spawn, and they just don't stop spawning. I had no idea.
My personal favorite is an unforgettable encounter where you become trapped in a maze and have to physically fight the labyrinth itself as you navigate it and avoid getting crushed.
That's a spoiler, bro. I don't want to hear that.
In order to stay ahead of the increasingly powerful enemies and boss fights that Remnant 2 has in store, you'll need to spend a
Mod2's watch?
lot of time gleefully optimizing your build. The most significant and exciting decision you'll make, and then constantly iterate upon, is your archetype, aka your class. At the start, you'll pick from 4, then discover more throughout your journey if you keep an eye out for secrets. Remnant 2 sagely allows you to switch archetypes at will, so you're free to experiment and level up every role on a single character instead of restarting from scratch.
No, I don't think that's right, because I think I saw online from one of the devs that you can pick the class, but then if you decide to experiment with another, you're not going to get as much benefit from that class. That's my understanding of it. So he's saying here that you can switch freely between classes. That's not what I heard.
You want to try out the hunter.
If you can switch classes at will, then why would there be different classes? I think that was one of the biggest things that they said, is that, you know, they're making it more valuable or more fun to roll different characters, because you get to roll a completely different class.
Who highlights all enemies on the battlefield and has a passive perk that makes critical hits extend the duration of any skills you've got equipped. Or maybe the Challenger with their area of effect, War Stomp, and ability to automatically get back up after taking fatal damage.
I was not interested in the Challenger before, but when I saw somebody playing and that motherfucker got downed and he punched the ground and got back up, I was like, oh my god. That looks coolish. I need to try that.
But the real fun comes once you unlock the ability to simultaneously equip a second archetype in the middle of the campaign. This opens up a whole new world of hybrid possibilities. Equipping the hunter and the pet summoning handler at the same time, for example, has some great synergy where you can direct your furry ally to distract and obstruct the enemy.
Because that's my understanding of it. You pick a class in the beginning, but then you get kind of like a subclass Well, let me rephrase that. An archetype. You pick one archetype in the beginning, and then a second archetype at level 10, I think they said, and then you combine them, and that's how you make your class. So what he said earlier, I don't think that's right. I really want to know if you can actually just change your archetype at will. I don't think that's right.
While you pick them off with a sniper from a distance. Beyond archetypes, there's an absolute ton of weapons, rings, amulets, and armor to round out your build.
What is
and
that?
half a dozen ways you can further modify and upgrade your equipment to your exact liking. It's a veritable modify and upgrade your equipment.
Powerful crushing. No. See right here? A powerful crushing device that harnesses rocket technology to increase smashing force. I saw that this guy, one of the developers, I think he's the lead developer, I'm not sure, but he mentioned this on Twitter that it's a rocket hammer. Yo, tell me that's not some anime shit right there.
Liking. It's a veritable build crafter's Shangri-La, and with most of the equipment being hidden throughout the world, along with some that drop from powerful enemies,
that's Yesha.
There's
I think
always
Yesha
a
is the
reason
first
to get back
zone
out there and explore. All of this combines into some of the most spellbinding combat I've seen in a looter shooter in a long time, and I spent way too many hours just experimenting with different permutations of my loadout and hunting for new tools to add to my collection.
Procedurally prodigious.
While it only took me 20 hours to complete Remnant 2, that's only
20 hours? 20, bro? 20? That's impossible. How? Only 20? There's no way. There's no way you spent only 20 hours. Impossible. The first game was longer than that. There's no way. 20 hours? Let me hear that again. I need to hear that again.
While it only took me 20 hours to complete Remnant 2,
Travis from IGN, earlier on, you said a few dozen hours. So, okay, I want to hear. He has to say after this, right? He has to say after this, I did another character, or I did another playthrough.
That's only the beginning of the time I'll actually spend playing it.
Okay, there it is. That's only the beginning of the time I will actually play. He's only spent 20 hours with this game and propped up this review. So he's not done another playthrough, and he has not made a second character. This is a big part of why I just don't like IGN reviews anymore. I think there's this one British guy, I think the last review I saw from a British guy at IGN, and I really enjoyed it. It was the first one I enjoyed in a long time. But this guy right here,
one of this series' characteristics, which is virtually unique within its genre, is its
keep in mind that this game costs $50 for the base edition. This is a massive $50. If you go on Greenman Gaming or cdkeys.com on PC, you get a 15 to 20% discount on top of that. This is a massive steal. If you're not playing this, I don't know what's wrong with you.
Procedurally generated levels, storylines, and side quests that make each run feel different. It's both impressively unpredictable.
That's story. That's story. I don't want to see that, bro.
You'll almost certainly end up in different worlds in a different order, fight different bosses, and find complete.
But how do you know, Travis? You haven't done a second playthrough. You haven't even started a second playthrough. You're just speculating. How can you review something that you haven't even played yet? You're talking about what you will do. How can you review something that you will do in the future? How do I know if you're going to do it in the first place?
Completely different quests along the way. It's not just a matter of rearranging rooms. The differences between each run can be so dramatic, they hardly even feel like they're part of the same world. In one playthrough of a realm called Yesha, I spent almost the entire
A rim called Yesha. Jesus. Yesha, sir. Yesha is a big part of the first game. FYI.
time indoors traipsing through these dark corridors full of crazed cultists, while on another, I found myself in these dense woods, and in another still...
Bro, just admit these people that are in games journal. Let's just admit for 1 second here. These people that are at these games journalism companies, they don't play video games. They don't want to play video games. I don't even think they like playing video games. I would go so far as to say they don't like playing video games. I'm 100% certain of it. They rush through these reviews, and you're not really getting an honest opinion. If these people were to do a channel on their own, it would not be successful. Let's make that 100% clear.
I was lost amid this maze of hovering platforms. In one run of the fantasy world Lassam, I spent the whole time in these slums, fighting off vandals and ne'er-do-wells. In another, I spent most of my time in these gilded palaces, fighting winged angels
looks like he's playing
and
on
armored paladins.
Survivor
They're
difficulty.
Almost entirely different.
Tread carefully now.
Damn, the textures. Holy shit, bro. Tell me that's not a character from Mordor. Holy shit. Is that Elvish Sauron?
You don't have to start a new campaign to experience all of the possibilities, though. After you've beaten the final boss on your first playthrough of any given world, you can immediately and infinitely re-roll that area anytime you want, generating a fresh set of quests to complete along with it. Woo! Let's go again! Infinitely re-roll that area through of any given world, you can immediately and infinitely re-roll that area anytime you want.
I don't like this dude. I don't like this guy at all.
Generating a fresh set of quests to...
That's a half-assed explanation of adventure mode. You realize that, right? That is an extremely half-assed explanation of adventure mode.
Complete along with it. Woo! Let's go again!
That is the fakest, most unenthusiastic woo I have ever heard in my life. let me show you how you should have done it.
It's astounding to think that if I were to create a list of my favorite Souls-likes, my favorite looter shooters, and my favorite procedurally generated games,
Yes. You didn't like the first one. We've established that you didn't like the first one. And I can personally tell you that of all the Souls-like games that I've played, From Software games, I've only completed a couple of From Software games. I still have not beaten Elden Ring for the life of me. But I did beat Dark Souls 3 maybe about 3 times. I think I got up to new game plus 2 or some shit. But Remnant is in my top 3 Souls-like games of all time. I'm not even joking. It might not be some people's cup of tea, but it certainly is mine. I love it. I love the aesthetic. I love the gameplay. I love everything about this game. I love how easy it is to play co-op. You don't have to find some bullshit ass item to play co-op. Somebody can just click on the button and join the game. My only hope is that in part 2, there isn't as much. I'm sorry. Your progress while playing with somebody else is saved. So if me and a friend decide to play co-op, and I join their game, my progress doesn't go. I hope that they find a way to get that corrected or relieved somehow.
This is a triumphant sequel that doesn't just reimagine the Souls-like genre as a co-op looter shooter, but absolutely nails that concept in every way, including many that the original Remnant did not. With
Here you go again. Here you go again. Here you go again. Like it's kind of like it's like he's not really talking shit about the first game, but that, like, making these subtle comments. Like every time he says something, it's like he's taking a jab at the first game, as if to say it was a bad game. Every time. This is the fourth time.
completely engrossing combat, challenging and memorable boss fights, ultra-dense build crafting options, incredibly cool dynamic levels, and a clever
Shit, I wish I had an
concept
editor,
that allows
IGN
for a ton of
editor.
different adventures in one package. It's very likely going to become one of my most played games this year.
No, it's not. No, it's not, Travis. Don't lie. Stop lying. Stop lying. You're not going to play the game after this. Don't lie.
No matter which part of the multiverse you find yourself in, you should do yourself a favor and play this gem. For more action, check out our reviews of Trepang 2 and Final Fantasy 16.
No, I don't think I will. I don't think I will. 9 out of 10, that's a fair assessment. That's a fair assessment. But, yeah. Anyways, I can't wait for this game. It's called, I got the early access. I'll be all over it tomorrow, Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern. So, anyways, come back for more Remnant 2 content. Peace.